Farmers are calling this the hidden goldmine of aquaculture. What if you could take a small, overlooked patch of your backyard, maybe the space where weeds grow wild or where you've always thought about building a shed, and transform it into a thriving fish farm that generates thousands of dollars every single year? Sounds almost impossible, right? But stay with me, because what you're about to discover could change the way you think about farming, food security, and even financial independence. Across America, farmers and everyday people face the same set of crushing challenges: feed costs that keep rising, land prices that feel untouchable, unpredictable weather patterns that can wipe out entire harvests overnight. For generations, these struggles have forced people to believe that agriculture is either too risky, too expensive, or simply out of reach unless you already own acres of land or have deep pockets. But what if I told you that there's another way, a smarter, more resilient path to producing food and income? That doesn't require you to own vast farmland or gamble your life savings. Imagine a system so compact that it fits neatly into a backyard, yet powerful enough to deliver a steady supply of protein for your family and cash flow for your wallet. This isn't science fiction, it's real, and the secret lies in a little-known fish from Southeast Asia, a species that has quietly helped families in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand build stable lives for decades. It's called the Spotted Gourami, or Trichopodus pectoralis, locally known as Cossack wren. Hardy, adaptable, and surprisingly profitable, this aquatic chicken could become one of the most overlooked opportunities in modern small-scale farming. Picture this: instead of relying on expensive, mass-produced feed or massive tracts of land, you're raising a fish that thrives on simple, low-cost diets: plants, grains, even farm scraps you'd otherwise throw away. Instead of building sprawling barns or investing in complex equipment, you're using a small tank, a lined pond, or even a concrete tub. Instead of battling unpredictable droughts or floods, you're in control of the water, the environment, and ultimately your results. For the American homesteader searching for self-sufficiency, for the suburban family wanting healthier food straight from their backyard, for the aspiring entrepreneur looking for a low-risk, high-reward side hustle, this model is more than just farming. It's empowerment. It's a chance to create independence in a world where prices keep rising, where grocery shelves aren't always reliable, and where the dream of passing something meaningful on to your children feels harder than ever. So today, you're not just going to learn about a fish. You're about to uncover a blueprint for resilience. A system designed for ordinary people with extraordinary dreams. A small step that could redefine food security, family legacy, and financial freedom for anyone willing to give it a try. And it all begins, right here, in your own backyard. Part 1: Introduction to the Aquatic Treasure. Meet the Spotted Gourami, scientifically known as Trichopodus pectoralis and affectionately called Cossack wren in Vietnam. At first glance, it may not look like much: a medium-sized, silver-scaled fish with subtle dark markings across its body. But behind that modest appearance lies a treasure that has sustained families across Southeast Asia for generations. This species is native to the rivers, ponds, and floodplains of Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and neighboring countries. Unlike many fragile fish that demand perfect conditions, the spotted gourami is hardy, resilient, and adaptable. It can tolerate fluctuations in water quality, thrive in environments where other species struggle, and survive on diets so simple they'd make most American aquaculture experts raise an eyebrow. Where tilapia may require carefully balanced feed and trout demand pristine, cold water, the spotted gourami makes the best of whatever you give it. That's what makes it so extraordinary. To put it into perspective, let's compare it to some familiar names in American aquaculture. Catfish farming has long been a staple in the southern United States. Known for its profitability but also for its heavy reliance on grain-based feed and pond systems that require significant land. Tilapia, often called the chicken of the water in the U.S., is popular for its mild flavor and fast growth. But it comes with drawbacks: high feed requirements, susceptibility to disease in intensive systems, and concerns about sustainability. Trout, prized in colder regions, requires constant high-quality water flow and cooler temperatures. which limits where it can be raised affordably. Now here comes the spotted gourami, standing quietly in the shadows of these giants yet offering a blend of traits that feels almost too good to be true. It is fast-growing, reaching market size in just 4 to 6 months. It survives and even thrives on simple, low-cost feeds, rice bran, broken grains, aquatic plants, even farm scraps. Its survival rate is impressively high, making it forgiving for beginners. For these reasons, farmers across Asia often call it the aquatic chicken, a reliable, versatile, and accessible source of protein that doesn't demand perfection from its caretaker. But the story doesn't end there. The spotted gourami isn't just valuable because it's easy to raise, it's also a cultural delicacy. In Vietnam, it is often dried, smoked, or prepared fresh for family meals. In Cambodia and Thailand, it's used in soups, curries, and fermented dishes that are deeply rooted in local traditions. The flavor is rich, slightly sweet, and unique, different from tilapia's bland profile or catfish's earthy taste. This culinary distinction has made it a beloved ingredient, one tied not only to nourishment but also to cultural identity. Now imagine what this means for America. The United States is home to millions of immigrants from Southeast Asia who grew up eating spotted gourami and still crave its taste. Walk into any Asian grocery store, and you'll find freezers stocked with imported dried or frozen fish, evidence of a steady demand that continues to grow. Restaurants serving Vietnamese, Thai, or Cambodian cuisine already pay premium prices for this species. Add to that the rising interest among health-conscious consumers who are searching for sustainable, responsibly raised alternatives to mass-produced protein, and you have a recipe for a niche market that is hungry, ready, and waiting. For the modern American homesteader, this is a golden opportunity. You're not just producing food for your family, you're producing something with cultural and economic value. While everyone else is stuck in the same cycles of raising chickens, goats, or tilapia, you have the chance to stand out with a species that is exotic yet proven, rare yet practical. This isn't about reinventing farming, it's about rediscovering a treasure the rest of the world has overlooked. The spotted gourami is more than just a fish. It's a symbol of resilience, adaptability, and opportunity. For families in Asia, it represents food on the table and money in the bank. For families in the US, it could represent a new chapter in farming, one that's smaller in scale but bigger in impact. And the best part? It's not just possible, it's already happening in backyards and small farms around the globe. So when you think about the future of farming, about independence, food security, and legacy, don't just think about chickens, tilapia, or catfish. Think about the spotted gourami, the aquatic chicken, that might just rewrite the rules of what's possible in your own backyard. Part 2 Farming Models Overview. For centuries, the story of fish farming has been tied to tradition. In many parts of the world, especially in rural communities, farmers raised fish in earthen ponds dug straight into the ground. These ponds worked well where land was abundant and water supplies were stable. They were simple, inexpensive, and easy to build, but they also came with challenges: water seepage, difficulty in controlling water quality, vulnerability to floods or droughts, and exposure to predators or disease from the natural environment. Another method that gained popularity in river-based regions was the use of floating cages. Farmers would build wooden or metal frames with net enclosures and anchor them directly in rivers or lakes. Fish could grow with a constant flow of fresh water. It seemed perfect, until water pollution, uncontrollable currents, and theft became major issues. In urban areas or places where water quality is unpredictable, these methods often fail to deliver consistent results. That's why modern aquaculture has moved toward smarter, more controlled systems, models that put the farmer back in charge. And two of the most promising options for the spotted gourami are lined ponds with HDPE tarpaulin tanks and concrete tanks. These systems may sound technical, but in reality, they're practical, affordable, and perfectly suited for small-scale farmers and even backyard enthusiasts in the West. Let's start with lined ponds, often built with durable HDPE tarpaulin sheets. Imagine a simple frame made of wood, bamboo, or metal, lined with a waterproof sheet that holds the water securely in place. This design prevents seepage, keeps predators out, and makes it easier to control water quality. Unlike digging a large earthen pond, a tarpaulin pond can be set up in just a few days. And it doesn't require heavy equipment. It's portable, flexible, and cost-effective for an urban homesteader or a family with limited space. It's like turning a small backyard corner into a miniature aquatic farm. Then there are concrete tanks. The more permanent solution. Building a concrete tank requires a higher upfront investment, but it pays off with durability and stability. Concrete doesn't tear or wear out like liners. And once built, it can last for decades. These tanks allow for complete control of the environment, water levels, oxygen, cleanliness, making them ideal for more intensive, professional-scale operations. And with proper setup, you can raise fish at higher densities without sacrificing health or growth. Now, why do these models make sense for Western settings? In many American neighborhoods, land is expensive, and backyard space is limited. Urban farmers and homesteaders often need compact, efficient systems that fit into small areas without causing environmental disruption. Lined ponds and concrete tanks meet that need perfectly. They're clean, manageable, and adaptable to a variety of climates. And for those already experimenting with aquaponics, growing vegetables with fish waste as natural fertilizer, these systems integrate seamlessly. Imagine harvesting fresh greens and fresh fish from the same backyard setup. That's not just farming, that's future-proof living. What makes this even more exciting is the scalability of these models. At the entry level, a hobbyist can start with one small tarpaulin pond or tank to raise fish for family consumption. It's an affordable way to test the waters, literally, without big risks. From there, it's easy to expand, add a second or third tank, experiment with feed efficiency, and begin selling surplus fish to neighbors or local markets. Suddenly, what started as a hobby turns into a micro-enterprise. And if the passion grows, so can the operation. Multiple tanks, systematic production, supply contracts with restaurants, and eventually even wholesale distribution. This journey, from hobbyist to micro-business to commercial farmer, isn't just a dream. It's already happening around the world. Families with limited resources have transformed their lives with these scalable systems. And now, the door is open for Western farmers, entrepreneurs, and homesteaders to do the same. The beauty of these models is that they are not about replacing tradition, but about adapting it to modern realities. Earthen ponds and cages may still have their place, but in an age of rising land costs, unpredictable weather, and the demand for efficiency, lined ponds and concrete tanks are the future. They offer control, flexibility, and opportunity, all packed into a system small enough to fit in your backyard yet powerful enough to support your biggest dreams. Part 3 Model 1. Lined Pond, HDPE Tarpaulin Tank. The first farming model that has captured the attention of countless small-scale farmers is the lined pond. Built with durable HDPE tarpaulin. Imagine transforming an unused patch of land, maybe the size of a one-car garage, into a shimmering pool teeming with life. It doesn't take months of back-breaking labor or thousands of dollars in machinery. With a little planning and the right materials, you could set up your own lined pond system in as little as one weekend. 1. Advantages. The most obvious advantage of this model is its low setup cost. Unlike concrete tanks or large earthen ponds, which can demand serious investments, a tarpaulin-lined pond is affordable and accessible. You don't need heavy excavation equipment, and you don't need acres of space. In fact, you can build one right in your backyard, even in places with poor quality soil where traditional ponds wouldn't hold water. Flexibility is another major benefit. These ponds can be built almost anywhere, on rocky ground, sandy soil, or even raised above ground level. If you ever need to move, you can dismantle the pond and set it up again at your new location. This portability makes it perfect for urban homesteaders or renters who want to farm without being tied permanently to the land. Speed is also on your side. With just a frame, a liner, and a water supply, you can go from empty yard to stocked pond in days, not months. And when it comes time to harvest, Simply draining the pond gives you quick, easy access to your fish. No more chasing them through murky waters or worrying about losing them to predators. 2. Drawbacks. Of course, no system is perfect. One drawback of tarpaulin-lined ponds is their shorter lifespan compared to concrete tanks. Over time, the liner can wear out, develop leaks, or get damaged if not handled carefully. Replacing it is simple, but it does add to long-term maintenance. Another challenge is temperature fluctuation. Because the water volume is smaller than in natural ponds, lined ponds are more sensitive to changes in weather. On hot summer days, water can warm up quickly. On cold nights, it can cool down just as fast. This means you'll need to think about shade, covers, or other methods to stabilize the environment. 3. Design and setup. So how do you build one of these systems? First, choose the right site. Look for a flat, elevated spot that's safe from flooding but still close to a clean water source. Easy drainage is crucial when it's time to harvest or refresh your water. You don't want to be stuck pumping endlessly. The most popular pond dimensions are around 10 by 16 feet with a depth of 3 to 4 feet. This size provides enough volume to raise a significant batch of fish without overwhelming beginners. But you can adjust depending on the space you have. Smaller ponds for testing, larger ones for scaling up. Your materials list is refreshingly simple. A sturdy frame made of wood, bamboo, steel, or even bricks. An HDPE tarpaulin liner at least 0.5 mm thick for durability. Inlet and outlet pipes for water management. A net cover if you want protection from birds or debris. Construction is straightforward. Level the ground and clear away sharp stones or debris. Build your frame, making sure it's strong enough to hold thousands of gallons of water. Stretch the liner carefully across the frame, smoothing out wrinkles so it sits tight against the base and walls. Install your piping system so you can add fresh water and drain it when needed. Then fill it up, and just like that, you've built a functional fish pond. Imagine the satisfaction. Standing back after a weekend of work, looking at a clear, shimmering pool, and knowing that in just a few months, it will be filled with fresh, healthy fish. 4. Stocking and feeding. With your pond ready, the next step is stocking it with fingerlings. Choose young spotted gourami that are healthy, free from deformities, and uniform in size. Healthy fingerlings dart actively in the water and have a bright, shiny appearance. Stocking density is key to success. For a tarpaulin pond, the sweet spot is 30 to 50 fish per cubic meter of water. This density ensures steady growth without overcrowding. Too few fish means wasted space, while too many can cause stress, disease, and stunted growth. Feeding your fish is simple yet critical. Start fingerlings on high-protein starter feed until they grow to about 50 grams. After that, shift to a balanced grow-out feed with moderate protein content. The beauty of the spotted gourami is that it also thrives on supplements, rice bran, vegetable scraps, aquatic plants, making it cheaper to feed than tilapia or catfish. Many farmers reduce feed costs by half just by using local, natural supplements alongside pellets. 5. Water management. If feed is the fuel of your farm, water is its lifeblood. Keep your pond's pH between 6.5 and 8.5. With dissolved oxygen levels above 3 mg per liter. Check water regularly for signs of imbalance. If it smells foul, looks cloudy, or fish start gasping at the surface, it's time for action. A good rule of thumb is to replace 20 to 30% of the pond water every 2 to 3 days. Or sooner if conditions worsen. Simple tools like air pumps or diffusers can keep oxygen levels healthy, especially in warmer climates or high-density ponds. Adding probiotics periodically helps maintain water clarity and reduces harmful waste buildup. 6. Disease prevention. Even the hardiest fish are vulnerable if conditions slip. Watch for warning signs: sluggish movement, loss of appetite, or unusual spots on the body. Separate sick fish immediately to prevent spreading. Maintaining clean water, balanced nutrition, and stress-free conditions is the best form of prevention. Supplementing feed with vitamins and minerals can boost immunity and keep your stock strong. When treatment is necessary, act quickly. Proven remedies, whether natural herbal extracts or commercial treatments, should always be applied carefully and according to guidance. Prevention, however, will always cost less than cure. 7. Case story. To see the potential of this model, consider the story of a farmer in Vietnam. With nothing more than a 500 square foot backyard, he built 3 tarpaulin ponds, each stocked with spotted gourami. His initial investment was modest, just enough for the liners, frames, and fingerlings. Within 6 months, he harvested enough fish to feed his family and sell the surplus. By the end of the year, his small farm was generating the equivalent of $5 in profit annually. Now picture this story transplanted to suburban America. Imagine a family in Texas, California, or Florida turning an unused corner of their backyard into a mini farm. Not only could they supply fresh, healthy fish for their table, but they could also sell the extra to neighbors, local farmers markets, or even specialty restaurants. What was once just empty space could become a reliable source of food and income. That's the power of the lined pond model. Affordable, flexible, and practical. It's a gateway to small-scale aquaculture that's accessible to anyone with the will to try. Part 4 Model 2. Concrete Tank. If the lined pond is the quick and flexible entry point into aquaculture, then the concrete tank is its sturdy, long-term cousin. This model is for those who see fish farming not just as a side hustle but as a foundation for a serious and sustainable business. It's about building something permanent, something that can support higher production, tighter control, and greater profits. 1. Advantages. The first advantage of concrete tanks is their long lifespan. Once constructed, a well-built tank can last decades. You don't have to worry about liners tearing, leaks springing, or constant replacements. It's a one-time investment that gives back year after year. Second, concrete tanks allow for stronger disease control. Because the environment is fully enclosed, it's easier to regulate water quality and prevent pathogens from entering. Cleaning is straightforward. The smooth surfaces can be scrubbed and disinfected quickly, giving you a level of sanitation that earthen ponds and tarpaulin systems simply can't match. Third, concrete tanks support higher stocking densities. Thanks to better oxygenation and water management, you can raise between 50 to 80 fish per cubic meter. That means more fish, more harvests, and ultimately more revenue, even from a relatively small footprint. 2. Drawbacks. Of course, the main drawback is the higher cost of construction. Building with cement, bricks, and rebar isn't cheap, and you'll need skilled labor to ensure the structure is watertight and durable. For beginners, this can feel like a big leap compared to tarpaulin ponds. Another limitation is that concrete tanks are fixed structures, unlike tarpaulin systems that can be moved or dismantled. Once a concrete tank is built, it's there to stay. If you ever relocate, you can't just roll it up and take it with you. For some, this permanence is a blessing. For others, it feels like a commitment too big, too soon. 3. Construction. So how do you build a concrete tank for spotted gourami? Start with size. A common dimension is 6 feet by 10 feet, with a depth of 3 to 5 feet, 1-1.5 meters. This provides enough space for high-density stocking while remaining manageable for cleaning and harvesting. When building the base, design the floor with a gentle slope toward the drainage outlet. This makes it much easier to flush out waste, clean the tank, and harvest fish when the time comes. Install both inlet and outlet systems. The inlet should allow you to fill the tank easily with clean water, ideally through a filter or mesh that keeps out unwanted debris or wild fish. The outlet should be placed at the lowest point of the slope and fitted with a valve, so you can drain water efficiently without disturbing the fish. Adding a screen to the outlet prevents stock from escaping. Because stocking densities are higher in concrete tanks, oxygenation is critical. Installing air pumps, diffusers, or even a simple paddle wheel can make a huge difference in fish health and growth rates. Think of it as giving your fish fresh, breathable air. They'll repay you with faster growth and fewer health issues. 4. Preparation before stocking. One of the most overlooked steps in concrete tank farming is preparing the tank before adding fish. Fresh cement contains lime that can make the water too alkaline. potentially harming or killing young fingerlings. There are several methods to neutralize this. Leaching lime. Fill the tank with clean water. Let it sit for 5 to 7 days. Then drain. Repeat this process 2 or 3 times until the pH stabilizes. Banana stalk method. Place chopped banana stalks into the tank and soak for several days. They absorb excess lime and help balance the water. Alum treatment. Add alum at about 20 grams per cubic meter of water and let it sit for a few days before draining. This lowers alkalinity effectively. Once the tank is neutralized, refill it with clean water and let it rest for 24 to 48 hours. At this stage, some farmers add dried leaves, like Indian almond leaves, to help condition the water, providing mild antibacterial benefits and creating a more natural environment. The goal is to bring the pH into the safe range of 6.5 to 8.5 before stocking. 5. Stocking and feeding. Now the fun begins. Stock the tank with healthy fingerlings of uniform size. Because concrete tanks allow for higher densities, you can stock 50 to 80 fish per cubic meter. This is where the efficiency of the model shines. A small tank can support hundreds of fish without stress if managed properly. Feeding programs are similar to lined ponds but often more intensive. Start with high-protein starter feed for young fingerlings. Then shift to grow-out feed as they mature. Since the fish are confined in a closed environment, supplement their diet with vitamins and minerals to strengthen immunity and promote faster growth. Some farmers add homemade supplements like rice bran, water spinach, or vegetable scraps to reduce feed costs. In the US, you can easily integrate agricultural byproducts, think leftover greens from the garden, kitchen scraps, or locally available grains. This flexibility not only cuts costs but also increases sustainability. 6. Water and health management. With high-density farming comes greater responsibility. In concrete tanks, water quality can deteriorate quickly if not managed. Regular testing is essential. Monitor ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate levels, along with pH and dissolved oxygen. These invisible factors can make or break your farm. A practical routine is to change 10 to 20% of the water daily or 30 to 50% every 2 to 3 days. Depending on the tank size and stocking density, frequent water exchange dilutes waste and replenishes oxygen. For hobby farmers in the US, integrating a biofilter system can take water management to the next level. Biofilters, whether mechanical, biological, or a combination, remove waste and recycle water, making the system more sustainable and less labor-intensive. Pairing a concrete tank with a biofilter essentially transforms it into a mini recirculating aquaculture system, ROS. The gold standard of modern fish farming. Healthy fish are active fish. Watch their behavior daily. Are they eating well? Swimming actively? Any signs of stress or illness should trigger immediate investigation. Because disease can spread fast in closed systems, early detection and action are key. Keeping probiotics in rotation and ensuring proper aeration go a long way toward maintaining balance. 7. Real-world story. To truly understand the potential of concrete tanks, look at what's already happening in Southeast Asia. In Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia, families with limited land have built concrete tanks in their backyards or even under their stilt houses. With just 2 or 3 tanks, they produce enough fish to feed their households and sell the surplus at local markets. The tanks operate year-round, unaffected by seasonal floods or droughts. Now picture this model in the United States. With climate-controlled systems, advanced biofilters, and access to consistent feed supply, American farmers could scale this even further. Imagine a suburban homesteader with 2 tanks producing hundreds of pounds of fish every few months. Or a small commercial operator using a series of concrete tanks to supply restaurants and specialty markets with fresh, sustainably raised spotted gourami. What once seemed like a small, niche idea suddenly becomes a serious farming business, stable, profitable, and future-proof. The concrete tank model may require more upfront investment, but for those ready to commit, it offers unmatched stability, scalability, and control. It's not just about building a tank. It's about building a foundation for long-term success in aquaculture. Part 5: Harvesting and Marketing. 1. Harvesting. One of the most rewarding parts of fish farming is the harvest. The moment months of patience and care finally turn into tangible results. For spotted gourami, the typical growth cycle runs about 4 to 6 months, with fish reaching a market size of 80 to 150 grams each. This growth rate makes them highly competitive compared to other species like tilapia or catfish. And the smaller body size is actually a selling point for gourmet markets that prefer whole, plate-sized fish. Harvesting in lined ponds or concrete tanks couldn't be easier. Thanks to built-in drainage systems, you don't have to wade into muddy water or chase fish with nets. By simply draining the pond, you can collect fish in a netted outlet or holding basin. The process is efficient, reduces stress on the fish, and minimizes labor. In just a few hours, you can move from a full pond to a clean tank, ready for the next production cycle. The beauty of this system is its predictability. You know exactly when your fish will be ready, and you can plan harvests to align with market demand, holidays, festivals, or peak restaurant buying seasons. Instead of guessing or gambling, you control the calendar. 2. Profitability analysis. Now let's talk about what every farmer really wants to know: profitability. Spotted gourami farming offers attractive returns. But like any business, success depends on balancing costs and revenue. Your main costs include fingerlings, the starting stock, usually affordable and available in bulk; feed, the largest ongoing expense, but offset by the gourami's ability to eat local plants and farm scraps; water and electricity. Costs vary depending on whether you pump, aerate, or filter; infrastructure, initial investment in ponds, tanks, liners, or concrete. Let's run through 3 scenarios. Small scale, backyard farmer, 1 tarpaulin pond, 500 to 700 fish capacity. Costs might run $400 minus $600 to set up, with feed and utilities adding another $200 minus $300 over 6 months. At harvest, you could expect 400 to 500 market-ready fish, selling at $5 minus $7 per pound to local buyers or farmers markets. Profit margins can easily hit $1 minus $1.500 per cycle. Medium scale, homesteader, side business, 3 to 5 ponds or tanks. Capacity for 2.000 to 3.000 fish. Setup may cost $2 minus $3.500, with operating expenses of $1 minus $1.500 per cycle. Revenue from sales could reach $8 minus $12.000 per year, providing a reliable side income or covering family food costs entirely. Large-scale, commercial farmer, a system of 10-plus tanks or ponds supporting 10.000 to 15.000 fish. Setup could cost $10 minus $15.000, but with smart marketing, annual revenue could exceed $50, especially when supplying restaurants or specialty food stores. With year-round production cycles, profits multiply quickly. The return on investment, ROI, for small and medium systems is often achieved in the first year. Unlike crops that depend on seasons or livestock that require years to mature, spotted gourami cycles quickly, making it one of the most efficient protein investments available to small farmers. 3. Niche market in the U.S. So where do these fish fit into the American marketplace? Surprisingly, the opportunities are vast. First, there's the Asian restaurant and grocery store market. Millions of Americans with Vietnamese, Thai, Cambodian, and Laotian roots already consume spotted gourami, often imported dried or frozen. Restaurants would gladly pay a premium for fresh, locally raised fish they can serve as a specialty. Next, consider gourmet and health-conscious markets. In an era when consumers want clean, sustainable, and traceable food, spotted gourami checks all the boxes. Raised in controlled environments with minimal chemicals and fed on natural supplements, they can be branded as an eco-friendly alternative to factory-farmed fish. For shoppers at Whole Foods or local organic markets, this story is powerful. Another untapped opportunity is the live fish trade. Many Asian markets and restaurants prefer buying live fish to guarantee freshness. With lined ponds and concrete tanks, transporting live spotted gourami in oxygenated tanks is simple and adds tremendous value. Live fish often sell for double the price of frozen or pre-packaged options. And don't forget the farmers markets. Imagine a stand showcasing fresh, sustainably raised spotted gourami, with samples of smoked or grilled fillets to entice passers-by. Customers love meeting the farmer, hearing the story, and knowing their purchase supports a local family. In many cases, this direct-to-consumer model yields the highest profit margins of all. Marketing isn't just about selling a fish, it's about selling a story. When you position spotted gourami as a sustainable, exotic, clean protein that comes straight from a small American farm, you give consumers something they can feel good about. They're not just buying food, they're investing in a lifestyle. 4. Value-added products. If fresh fish is the foundation of profitability, then value-added products are the key to unlocking even greater returns. Across Southeast Asia, spotted gourami isn't just eaten fresh, it's transformed into specialty goods that command premium prices. One popular method is smoking. Smoked gourami has a rich, savory flavor that appeals not only to traditional Asian consumers but also to American foodies seeking new experiences. Packaged in vacuum-sealed bags, smoked fish can be sold at gourmet stores or online, extending shelf life and market reach. Another option is drying. Dried gourami is a staple in Vietnamese and Cambodian cuisine, used in soups, stir-fries, and even as a snack. With the growing popularity of jerky and dried protein snacks in the US, dried gourami could find a niche among adventurous eaters. And let's not forget sauces and condiments. In parts of Asia, gourami is fermented into flavorful sauces that are treasured in local dishes. Adapted for American tastes and branded with artisan packaging, such products could thrive in specialty food markets. The real secret to value-added products is storytelling. It's not just smoked fish, it's a centuries-old tradition reimagined for modern kitchens. It's not just dried fish, it's a protein-packed snack with roots in Southeast Asia and a future in American health food aisles. By connecting culture, sustainability, and flavor, farmers can elevate a simple fish into a premium product. With the rise of online marketplaces like Etsy, Amazon Handmade, and local food delivery services, small farmers can now reach customers nationwide. Imagine a farmer in California selling smoked gourami online to homes in New York. Or a homesteader in Texas shipping dried fish to Chicago restaurants. With the right marketing, the possibilities stretch far beyond the backyard. The journey from pond to plate doesn't end with harvesting, it's only the beginning. By mastering both production and marketing, spotted gourami farmers can carve out a profitable niche in one of the most competitive food markets in the world. And in doing so, they're not just raising fish, they're raising opportunities, stories, and legacies that will ripple outward for generations. Part 6: Comparison of both models. Now that we've explored both lined tarpaulin ponds and concrete tanks, the question becomes, which model is right for you? The answer depends not just on your budget, but also on your goals, your space, and your vision for the future. The tarpaulin-lined pond is the perfect choice for beginners, hobbyists, or anyone who wants to dip their toes into aquaculture without a huge financial risk. It's a low-cost entry point that can be set up quickly. Even on land that would normally be unsuitable for fish farming, you don't need special skills or machinery, just a frame, a liner, and a little determination. Flexibility is one of its biggest strengths. If you move, you can take it with you. If you want to expand, you can add more ponds. If something doesn't work, you can adjust without losing a fortune. For suburban families, backyard gardeners, or small homesteaders looking for fresh protein and a little extra income, this model is simple, smart, and scalable. Think of it as the gateway system, the first step on your journey into aquaculture. On the other hand, the concrete tank is for those ready to make a serious, long-term commitment. It requires more investment up front, both in money and construction. But once built, it delivers unmatched durability and stability. You can stock more fish per cubic meter, Maintain stricter control over water quality. And run multiple cycles a year without worrying about liners tearing or structures collapsing. Concrete tanks represent the professional, business-minded approach. If you envision supplying restaurants, opening contracts with local stores, or scaling into a commercial operation, this is the model built to support that growth. It's permanent, it's reliable, and it's designed for people who see aquaculture as more than just a hobby, it's their livelihood. So, which fits you? If your goal is to provide food security for your family, reduce grocery bills, and maybe sell a little extra on the side, a tarpaulin pond is your best starting point. It's affordable, practical, and easy to learn from. But if your dream is to build a thriving business, to supply niche markets, and to scale production year after year, then a concrete tank is the smarter investment. In reality, many successful farmers use both models together. They start small with tarpaulin ponds to gain experience, test markets, and build confidence. Then, as profits grow, they reinvest into concrete tanks for stability and expansion. This hybrid approach combines the best of both worlds: flexibility at the start, permanence for the future. No matter which path you choose, the most important thing is to start. Because whether you're raising fish in a simple lined pond or a professional-grade concrete tank, you're building something far bigger than just a farm. You're building resilience, independence, and a legacy. Part 7: Future of Spotted Gourami Farming in the West. When we talk about the future of farming in America, 3 words always rise to the top: sustainability, innovation, and opportunity. The spotted gourami, long overlooked outside of Southeast Asia, has the potential to embody all 3. Sustainability, the core advantage. At a time when feed costs are crippling traditional livestock and aquaculture, the spotted gourami shines. It thrives on simple, low-cost diets: rice bran, aquatic plants, vegetable scraps, and locally available grains. This makes it not only affordable to raise but also eco-friendly. By using food that would otherwise go to waste, farmers can cut feed costs dramatically while reducing their environmental footprint. Unlike tilapia or catfish, which often depend heavily on industrial feed, the spotted gourami's resilience makes it an ideal candidate for sustainable protein production in the West. Imagine backyard farmers across America reducing kitchen waste, feeding it to their ponds, and in return harvesting clean, healthy fish for their families. That's a closed-loop system, good for the planet and good for the wallet. Role in aquaponics systems. One of the most exciting possibilities for spotted gourami in the United States is its role in aquaponics. This integrated system combines fish farming with hydroponic plant production, where fish waste becomes natural fertilizer for vegetables and plants. In turn, help clean the water. Spotted gourami are the perfect match for crops like lettuce, herbs, spinach, and basil. Their steady waste output provides nutrient-rich water, and their hardy nature makes them less prone to stress in controlled systems. Picture a suburban greenhouse producing both fresh greens and fresh fish year-round, all within a space no bigger than a 2-car garage. Aquaponics has been gaining traction among urban farmers, schools, and eco-conscious entrepreneurs. Adding spotted gourami into the mix could be the breakthrough that makes these systems more profitable and more widely adopted. It's not just about food, it's about building resilient ecosystems right in our backyards. Disrupting the tilapia and catfish markets. For decades, tilapia and catfish have dominated the American aquaculture scene. They're familiar, cheap, and widely available, but with that dominance comes saturation. Consumers are starting to ask for something new, something exotic, healthier, and raised with care. This is where spotted gourami has the chance to disrupt the market. Its flavor profile is distinct, mild yet rich, without the muddy taste often associated with catfish. Its smaller size makes it perfect for whole fish presentations, appealing to chefs in gourmet and ethnic restaurants. And because it can be branded as a sustainable, exotic, clean protein, it positions itself as a premium choice in a market that's hungry for alternatives. Farmers who adopt spotted gourami early will have the advantage of pioneering this new market. Instead of competing in the overcrowded tilapia and catfish arenas, They'll be opening a lane of their own, one with higher margins and less competition. Policy and regulations. Of course, introducing a new species into American aquaculture isn't as simple as just filling a tank. Farmers must navigate local fish and wildlife regulations. Some states may restrict certain non-native species to protect local ecosystems. Others may require permits or inspections. The good news is that controlled systems like tarpaulin ponds, concrete tanks, and aquaponics setups minimize ecological risk because the fish are not released into natural waterways. Still, any farmer considering spotted gourami should consult their state's aquaculture department or fish and wildlife agency to ensure compliance. In the long run, successful pilot projects and responsible farming practices could encourage broader acceptance and even pave the way for spotted gourami to become a mainstream aquaculture species in the West. Why the Farmers Ally community should pioneer this? The real question is, who will lead this movement? That's where the Farmers Ally comes in. This community was built for visionaries, people who see opportunities before the rest of the world catches on. By pioneering spotted gourami farming, members of this community can set themselves apart as innovators in the field of sustainable agriculture. Imagine being among the first wave of American farmers to introduce this species to local markets. Imagine creating stories, building networks, and showing others that aquaculture doesn't require massive ponds or sprawling farmland, it just takes creativity, determination, and the right species. This is more than just farming fish. It's about redefining what's possible in small-scale agriculture. It's about giving families independence, giving communities sustainable food, and giving the next generation a model of resilience they can be proud of. The future of spotted gourami farming in the West is unwritten, but the pen is in our hands. The only question is, who will step forward to write the first chapters? Part 8: Motivation and Inspiration. Every empire begins with a single step. For some, it was planting seeds in the ground. For others, it was building a small business out of a garage. And for you, it could be something as simple as filling a tank with water and releasing a handful of tiny fingerlings. From that modest beginning, a transformation is possible, one that can take you from backyard to business empire. The beauty of spotted gourami farming lies in its low risk and high scalability. You don't need massive acres of land, multi-million-dollar facilities, or expensive equipment. All you need is the willingness to start small. One tarpaulin pond, one concrete tank, one cycle of fish. That's enough to begin your journey. And the magic is that this journey doesn't stop there. With every harvest, with every reinvestment, you can grow your operation, step by step, into something larger and more powerful. Think about it. A single backyard pond might produce enough to feed your family. Add a second, and suddenly you have extra to sell to neighbors. Add a third, and you're supplying the local farmers market. Before long, restaurants are calling, grocery stores are asking, and your little backyard project has become a recognized brand. That's the power of scalability. It turns dreams into plans, and plans into profits. But this isn't just about money. It's about empowerment. In a world where so many feel powerless, where food prices rise faster than wages, where families worry about food security, spotted gourami farming offers a chance to take control. It's proof that you don't need acres of land to build a legacy. You don't need to wait for permission from big corporations or government programs. With your own hands and your own will, you can create abundance right where you are. Picture this: a family gathered around the dinner table, sharing a meal of fish they raised themselves. The kids are proud because they helped feed the fish after school. The parents are proud because they've turned wasted space into a source of nourishment and savings. And in that moment, something deeper is happening. Knowledge is being passed from one generation to the next. Lessons of self-reliance, of responsibility, of resilience. Those are the gifts that no paycheck can buy. And beyond the dinner table, there's the ripple effect. Friends and neighbors see what you're doing, and they ask questions. Some might join in. Soon, an entire community begins to shift toward sustainability, toward independence, toward hope. What started as one family's experiment becomes a movement. And movements change the world. When we say, from backyard to business empire, It's not just a catchy phrase. It's a roadmap, because every great farmer, every great entrepreneur, every great leader started somewhere small. They started with uncertainty, they started with challenges, but they also started with belief. And belief, when matched with action, has no limits. Maybe right now you feel hesitant. Maybe you wonder if you have the time, the resources, or the experience to start something like this. But here's the truth. You don't need to know everything to take the first step. You don't need to have the perfect setup from day one. You just need to begin. The rest comes with practice, learning, and growth. Your backyard, your side yard, your rooftop, it can all be more than just empty space. It can be the foundation of something extraordinary. And in a world where so many people consume but never create, choosing to build something with your own hands is an act of courage. It's a statement that says, I am not just surviving, I am thriving. So as you think about what's possible, remember this. Spotted gourami farming isn't just about raising fish. It's about raising hope, raising independence, and raising a future where your family doesn't just get by, they flourish. And it starts with you. If what you've just seen has sparked something inside you, if it's made you imagine the possibilities waiting in your own backyard, then now is the time to take action. Don't let this just be another video you watch and forget. Let it be the starting point of your journey into aquaculture, into independence, and into building something that lasts. First, make sure you subscribe to the Farmer's Alley. This is more than just a channel, it's a community. Every week, we share new ideas, proven models, and inspiring stories that show ordinary people transforming their lives through innovative farming. By subscribing, you're not just getting content, you're joining a movement of pioneers who believe in smarter, more sustainable ways to farm. Second, if you know someone, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, who's been searching for a new opportunity, share this video with them. You never know how powerful a single idea can be in the right hands. That share might be the spark that helps another family find food security, start a side business, or even launch their own farming empire. Together, we can spread this knowledge far beyond one backyard and create ripples of change across communities. Third, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, your questions, or your own ideas. Have you tried aquaculture before? Do you see potential for spotted gourami in your area? What challenges do you think you'd face? And what kind of support would help you get started? Your voice matters, and by sharing, you also help others who may be wondering the exact same things. This channel thrives on community input, and your story could be the next one we feature. And finally, don't miss what's coming next. Today we revealed the incredible potential of the spotted gourami, the aquatic chicken, that could reshape small-scale farming in the West. But this is just the beginning. In our next video, we'll uncover another hidden species with equally groundbreaking potential, a model that could complement or even surpass what you've seen today. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So here's the call to action. Subscribe, share, comment, and stay tuned, because the future of farming isn't written by corporations or governments. It's written by people like you. Right where you are, with whatever resources you have. Let's take this journey together. Let's build something extraordinary, and let's show the world that the next agricultural revolution starts not in boardrooms or billion-dollar facilities, but in backyards, small farms, and communities united by vision and determination. Every great story has a turning point. For you, maybe today is that moment. You've discovered a species that's been quietly sustaining families across Asia for generations. You've seen how simple models, lined ponds or concrete tanks, can transform even the smallest backyard into a thriving source of food and income. And you've learned how something as modest as a few fingerlings can grow into more than just fish. It can grow into independence, resilience, and legacy. This isn't just about aquaculture. It's about rewriting the rules of what's possible. It's about proving that you don't need acres of land, a huge budget, or decades of experience to create something extraordinary. With the spotted gourami, you have a chance to step into a new chapter of farming, one where sustainability and profitability go hand in hand, where families grow stronger together, and where communities build futures rooted in self-reliance. The journey from backyard to business empire isn't a fantasy. It's a choice. Every pond built, every fish raised, every meal shared brings that dream closer to reality. And while others wait for opportunities to come knocking, you have the power to create your own, right here, right now. So as this video comes to an end, remember, the story doesn't end here. It begins with you. The next generation of farmers, innovators, and dreamers is rising, and you're part of it. Together, we can transform backyards into farms, farms into movements, and movements into revolutions. The spotted gourami is more than just a fish. It's a symbol of what happens when ordinary people dare to do something extraordinary. The question is, will you be one of them?